We're gonna move the car forward to take the diff out. Yeah, that's right. We said take the diff out. We're putting new polyurethane bushings. It's gonna be nice. So anyway, we're gonna drop the diff, take it out, and try and get the old bushings off. It's probably gonna be very difficult, so stay tuned. I just swept dirt on my shoes. Thank you. So we're gonna clean up the garage really quick and then back this car back in. Gotta remove these lovely, beautiful wheels.
It's a vintage 1990.
We're gonna loosen both the axles first, and then we'll show you how to disconnect the diff. The axles, it's a size 14 nut. Probably what you're gonna have to do is get both of these, take the e-brake off, spin it around, and then put the e-brake back on so you're not like constantly messing with them.
But if you can reach all of them, then just go for it.
We're also gonna have to take the backbone off, which it really isn't on technically for us. So these are just gonna come literally right out.
The next bolt that you want to take off is this one up here. On ours, it's a 14 mil on both sides. Kind of wiggle it back and forth, and then boop. So now when you go to pull this forward, it'll actually pull all of that outwards.
So Tyler's pulling it forward towards him, and it's pulling up the axle. Boop. And then we're just gonna copy that on the other side.
So the next part that you want to take off are these two bolts here. Don't worry about the middle one yet. This one is a 12 millimeter. Now, with the diff supported, we can take out the two center bolts, which are, I believe, a 17? Boop.
Yeah.
Boop. This is how loud it normally is.
That's because it's a metal.
Well, it's in the roof or whatever, yeah. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a drill bit as big as you can, and what you wanna do is try and drill out a little bit of the center to get out this center ring. Once we do that, we're gonna hit it with an air hammer and start pushing this thing out. And then that's basically it, so let's see how this goes. Well, the middle, yeah.
So now we have to get this outer ring out, which has a metal ring and a rubber. It's a metal ring, and this rubber is in between it.
Basically, I'm gonna put this onto here, and I'm just gonna start tapping it inwards. for one more.
So if you don't have an air hammer,
Buy one.
yeah, if you don't have an air hammer, you can use a pair of like pliers or a big flathead and a hammer to keep doing what you're doing. That's basically what the air hammer does. But yeah, the air hammer came in a kit we bought a long time ago, and it apparently is worth it. So we're gonna clean this with sandpaper. The inside, I'm gonna clean the outside with this wire brush. So we have some 500 grit. So what we're doing is we took this top piece off and left the bottom one on. It says to actually take both off, but I don't see a reason to take this one off. If you guys can tell me otherwise that I should, let me know. But the ones that we have, this one sits over this and nothing goes on the bottom. So this sits up.
And on the bottom side, there's nothing here. It's literally just the metal. So I think when it was just originally made, you can tell that there's 4 injection ports that it kind of seals it together on. But we just feel it's an extra step to take that off, so why even go for it?
Because it was a pain to get this off. We basically just heated it around and got a screwdriver and jammed it under there and all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, if you have the chance to clamp it down, by all means do it. It makes it a lot easier. And Harbor Freight, buy yourself a cheap little chisel. It came in handy just peeling this thing right off once it's heated up,
Which is probably not at all what you're supposed to do.
the first thing you want to do is, if you have a heat gun, it's going to be the best thing, because that way you're not putting just a direct flame onto it. But you want to start warming this thing up until it almost starts to smoke. Like, you'll notice it goes from this to having some cracks on it. And then if you have a screwdriver, whatever you can, just start prying it up from the bottom. Thank you.
It actually says it should be smoking and you don't want it to be on fire.
So now, just to keep this nice and easy, we're going to chop that in half, pull that off, and then if you have a nice cheap chisel, you just start going at it.
Now that we have the inside all smooth and clean and the top hats, I sanded down this part a little bit and it's pretty smooth now, so we're going to go ahead and put the bushing into the diff housing. What we're going to do is grease up this and grease up that and grease the middle here and go ahead and pretty much tap it in. Up.
What you're gonna need is a big hammer, something really strong to press this thing in, because it is going to be a pain in the ass. So what you want to do is line it up and achoo, 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 and you're good.
So now we can put this in the middle.
Which might have been why it went in so easy.
You don't know if you're supposed to put that in first or not. Oh. And then you just slide that in. I don't know how these people have such a hard time. When I was watching Ginjum, he was like beating the shit out of his.
Yeah.
This is one of the those videos where it looks easy as fuck.
Yeah. Which happens to me all the time. They're like, oh yeah, you just gotta do that. And then I look at my car and it's like rusted.
Like, it just goes in and we're like, what?
Boop.
No, it doesn't. Alright guys, so we got them in. Woo! It was way easier than we thought it was, and that scares me. So...
Scares both of us.
So this is the only tricky part of this whole thing, is now we have to get this back onto here and start lifting it up into place. Which, if any of you guys are doing this by yourselves, you will know it's a pain in the ass. But it can be done. We're lucky enough to have an oil pit.
So we have these, we're gonna slide the red bushing on, and then we're gonna put this on. So here's what it looks like. I know you guys can barely see it, but that's what it looks like.
Now with just those two screws in, they're just kind of hand tight right now because we're gonna line up the backbone to the diff. But if you lower it, the diff should stay in place.
We were having issues with the seating nut, or whatever you want to call it, up top, both of them, sitting into the backbone. So what we actually had to do is Tyler shoved a screwdriver in between the backbone and kind of tilted it.
Right, yeah.
And it helped get it in line, and they both started to seat. We were having issues with that before, but we were waiting on the bushings to figure it out. And then Tyler tightened these two nuts up, and then we're gonna tighten both the bigger ones. And then the diff is done.
And now that the diff is finally mounted, we can get the measurements from the back flange of this to the seal of the transmission, and we can get our custom drive shaft made.
Woo, woo, woo. Super excited! Spend more of my money! We're definitely gonna go and try and see about getting a new sway bar. I want to get new end links as well, but if you guys know, I want to get a new sway bar for the rear for sure. The front, I'm not sure yet because most of them are thicker than the OEM one, and I don't really have a lot of room there. So if you know of like a good one that maybe moves it down or something, let me know. But let me know what sway bars you guys are running, so and how you like them, or if you don't like them, and also end links as well. I want to get all end links and stuff for the car as well. So let me know if you guys recommend anything.
Putting back on the drive shafts, didn't really have to pull them
Axles?
from the... She knows what I'm talking about.
He means axles.
Yes. Basically just push it in, and it'll actually collapse just enough to get it on. And you can start bolting it back up.
So we're just gonna throw the axles back on. Put the, whatever the flip that is, that bolt and that back on. What is this? The hub assembly?
I mean, technically it'd be the... I don't know. It's a rear upper control arm?
Oh
No?
yeah, maybe. Alright guys, so that's it for today. Intercooler piping is to come. I'm waiting on some elbow hoses to come in, and then we can get that done and ready. And then we got the diff mounted and everything, so we're gonna measure for the drive shaft. And Tyler's gonna preload the rear coilovers right now, since we already did the front, but we hadn't gotten to the rear. We got the diff all up. We're gonna do the coilovers, and then we're buttoning everything back up, and we're gonna call it a day. Make sure to subscribe for more info on the SR20 Miata swap. We're getting really close. Super exciting. We are going to go with a aftermarket T3 turbo. Not sure yet technically which one. We found one we wanted, but we need to sell our current turbo to get that one. So we're just waiting for that to sell, basically. So yeah, let us know what you think about this video. Give us a like, a share maybe to your friends. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.